Lastly, but surely not least, is the sparkle queen herself. She is the beauty extraordinaire. And I say this not because she is beautiful, though she wildly is, but she's divinely designed, obviously, by the most beautiful God. And he, of course, has her as an image bearer in the world. But she has also had a 25-year experience in the makeup and art industry, which I think is so neat. And we've realized even just recently how that has been crafted and shaped to be used for the good works in which she now is being called and summoned into, helping others understand what co-creating with Christ looks like and the beauty and wonder connected to our birthright, like who we are as children of God. So she does a lot of identity work. She does a lot of revelation work, and she's a coach and also helps women through retreats and a lot of fun events that we will most likely be on together here soon. But she's also going to be gracing the MC element of this event as she puts you in the light. And what I mean by that is she might be the very first person you get to even talk to when you come through the doors of FounderCon, because she is on the red carpet welcoming you in, because God has laid this red carpet for you to be in person. Of course, we have our virtual stage as well, which is going to be incredible. You heard from our virtual MCs, Dane and Josiah, previously on the podcast, but Jess is going to truly just shed that beauty and make people feel so confident as they step into this experience and this immersion with Christ, for their eyes to be open to the beauty and wonder in which Christ has prepared for them prior to them even showing up to the conference. And I know she's going to bless you. She blesses me every single time I'm around her. It's all about in the beginning, right? And you're going to experience the beginning with Jess at the conference and the end. So it's going to be a beautiful full circle compilation with the author and finisher of our faith. So Jess, I love you. Let's learn a little bit from her, as you're also going to hear from her on stage.
Getting ready to go to church. I was a single woman in my 20s, and I love fashion. I love makeup. It's an extension of our personality.
For sure.
Free to do this. God looks at the heart. So I know some people might use it to cover up their pain, but ultimately it's this beautiful expression. And, King Solomon spared no detail when he
exactly.
on somebody. And so I was getting out of my car, grabbing my Bible, and I'm walking through the church parking lot, and a man walks up to me and he says, your beauty isn't because of your braids or wearing gold or wearing makeup. That's not true beauty. And then he just walked away. And I thought, Holy Spirit, that felt, it was coming from such an unloving, prideful place. You didn't know me. It was kind of dark. You walked up to me, that just all around felt so wrong. And yet so many times in the church, and then we take this thought, we take this ideology that beauty is bad and my beauty is bad and I should cover it up. And you know what? In fact, let me not even think about it. And that's wrong too. And so one of the things we do with the Beautiful Mind Academy and our soul care and spiritual formation coaching program is we take a beauty assessment. And it's not just like how we look beauty, but
I love that.
It's really interesting. And so one question, and then we dive into it all together. But one question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how beautiful do you feel?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel? And so we then talk about this, and I might, as we're facilitating a conversation around beauty, how many of you struggle to feel beautiful? Half the people might raise their hand. And I said, okay, we speak with them and hear from them, and said, I'd love to hear from the people who didn't raise their hand. What is it that you feel? And most of those people, they ignore it altogether. They don't even allow themselves to look at it. So it's not coming from a healthy place, knowing I'm beautiful. God made me this way. Beauty is my birthright. From a biblical perspective and from a philosophy perspective, beauty is always tied to two things: truth and goodness. Truth and goodness. And my friend, he's a mentor of mine in the biblical beauty. He wrote this beautiful book on biblical beauty. And he says, perhaps becoming more beautiful is a journey of becoming more truthful. And I believe it was Socrates who can we call something beautiful if it tells a lie about who God is? No. It wouldn't be beautiful because it wouldn't be truthful, it wouldn't be good. And so feeling beauty is so much more than the aesthetic appeal, than what we see with our eyes. Again, let's go back. What if we didn't have a mirror? What if we didn't have a video screen flashing a reflection back at us? Would we feel beautiful? And in those times when I have played around with this idea, where I've gone through a day without like looking in the mirror when I wake up or moving through my day, really, I was so much more attuned to how I was serving other people, and how I was making them feel.
Yeah.
And in turn, I felt all of those things that you feel when you put on a new dress, you know, like I felt good.
The best.
So beauty it begins in the soul and it works its way outward. With that in mind, it isn't anything we can apply, anything we can buy. In fact, sometimes I challenge women with, why would you put all your hope into something that would come off with a little bit of water? Because there are people put their hope and their identity and their brand and their image in this, this artistic image that they put together. Why would we put our hope and confidence in something that washes off with water?
So good. It's so good. Well, it makes me think of like, because you know me and my fashion sense as well, especially when I'm doing anything on stage, I'm like, I need all of the sparkles. Like, don't give me anything that's not sparkly. My mom, who is my fashion coordinator, she knows. I'm like, oh, it's not shiny enough. And it was only because when else do I get to walk? I mean, I could do it anyway. I could go to the grocery store if I wanted, but often I don't. I would do it when I'm on stage, but I do it as a reflection to self, not for me to be more known, not for anything like that, but for you to say, I can sparkle too in whatever that gift and talent is, in whatever that flow and synchronicity is. And we talked about it briefly in some of the different ways in which you've done it. And I think it's so critical for us to understand, when do I feel most beautiful? What is that? What part of your day is that? I always hear about people hearing from the Lord in the shower, or being able to like sing in the shower in such a free way that they could never do any other way. And isn't it interesting that there's no mirrors generally there, maybe in the bathroom, but you're naked at that point. And that's generally a conflict of interest, especially for women, because when we then immediately go into the mirror, we've taken what beautiful experience and exchange just happened in that sacred space, because nobody's in the bathroom with us. There's no other devices. There's no sound. And you can just hear the running water, and you're in a warm, safe place, hopefully. And you then immediately transfer that energy into negativity. And so what just happened in your mind is this open, free space has now just been put into shame and regret and guilt. And so we do this, and some people do this every single morning before they've ever even interacted with another human being. And so they're then walking into the next hour of their day, the next schedule of their day, their next interaction with that negativity. And so there's something here, Jessica, as we're talking, there's just something that I want people to explore. And that question goes back to, when do you feel most beautiful? Not right this moment, maybe isn't that as you're listening, but I think about it associated to my strength. When I feel strong, I feel beautiful. So if I'm working out, if I'm lifting heavy things, I could be in the garden in a place where I'm actually dirty and sweaty and like my outfit doesn't coordinate. I got no sparkles on, I've got stuff in my hair, but I feel beautiful because I'm one with the earth at that moment, but I also feel strong. When I was a mom and I was like mom bun and yuck and puke and all that stuff, but I was holding my baby, I felt strong and resilient. And so for people to just analyze that as you're sharing, I'm thinking about these people who sat in that chair, these famous people, musicians, artists, broadcasters, whomever it was, and how much they probably lacked the sense of confidence associated to their beauty.
Wow. I love that when you feel most beautiful, you recognize you feel most strong. For me, it would be when I feel most free and most wild. Those are some of my favorite words. And not wild in a party girl, unholy way, but I think that word gets to be holy as well.
I agree.
When I think of wild, I think of unrestrained. I think of, hear me roar. I think of the king of the jungle, the lion, this wild, uninhibited, unafraid to be its true self. not letting fear hold you back. And so for me, yeah, it's when I feel free, when I feel wild, I feel most beautiful. And I would love to hear from, you listening.
Yes, we want to know.